everybody. Today we're going to talk about why I love canning so much. Canning for convenience. So on those days when I've been crazy busy and I totally forgot to take something out of the freezer to thaw, I come down here and pick something off of the canning shelves. I've been doing water bath canning for a really long time, but the pressure canning I just started recently in the last couple of years. And you know what? It's a huge time saver. Of course, there are freezer meals, and yes, that does save some serious time. But the only problem with freezer meals is they're still frozen. On those days that you're rushing around, all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and you haven't taken anything out of the freezer and everything is frozen solid. What do you normally do? I know I would call my husband and ask him to bring a pizza home, or maybe you load up all the kids in the car and you decide to go out to eat, but that gets expensive quick. So on a busy day, when I haven't taken anything out, I can go down to my canning room and pull out one of these meals here and have a meal done in 15 minutes. So canning has definitely become my meal prep, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Right here, I have 5 and maybe a bonus 6th meal that isn't actually a 15-minute meal, but it's one of our favorites, so I'm gonna throw it in anyways. One of our favorite meals to do is soup. This is awesome for lunch or dinner. These are actually stewed tomatoes. So I keep them stewed. This isn't actually tomato soup yet because this is very versatile and I can throw it in all kinds of casseroles, chili, all kinds of different things. So in order to make this tomato soup, I put it in the blender, add a little bit of milk, butter, and baking soda, and in 10 minutes, I have tomato soup. These tomatoes are from my garden, so best of both worlds. You can obviously buy canned tomato soup from the store, but I know exactly where these tomatoes came from, and that's a huge bonus. Right here I have chicken soup that I made with the backs of the chickens that we processed a couple of months ago, and I have some chicken, potatoes, and carrots, some bone broth in there, a little bit of salt and pepper, and this is a dump and go meal. It takes 10 minutes to heat up. Here's Jake making his own chicken soup. The kids absolutely love being able to go downstairs, get a jar of soup and heat it up on the stove and make their own lunch. So for lunch, with either one of these two, soup is enough. But for dinner, we need a little bit more. I usually have some homemade sourdough bread in the freezer. So we just pull that out, thaw it out, we have it with our dinner, and it's definitely enough to keep us until the next morning. This right here is canned chicken meat. So I love this canned chicken meat because it's already 100% cooked. All of these are 100% cooked. So if we happen to lose power, we could just open one of these up and eat it right out of the can. Not ideal because, you know, we like our soups and a lot of our food warm, but if you had to, you had to, and it's completely safe. But the other reason that I love this canned chicken because I can use it for so many things. This is great for quesadillas. Just heat it up between a couple of wraps with a little bit of cheese, and there you have dinner. The other wonderful thing that I can use with this is chicken and pesto. All I have to do with chicken and pesto is boil some noodles, dump this in, pesto in, and I'm done. Another great one that I love is chicken and gravy, and I can pour some of this in with a little bit of the bone broth here, and get that heated up, thicken it up with either some arrowroot powder, cornstarch, or even flour, and then put it over biscuits, even mashed potatoes or noodles. So here's a super simple biscuit recipe. It's 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, a stick of butter cubed, and then I mix it in the food processor until it's crumbly. After that, I add a cup of buttermilk and mix it until it's a dough. Put your oven on 450, bake for about 12 minutes, and you're done. I only have the chicken here, but we also can deer meat this way. We love to do deer meat and gravy over mashed potatoes, noodles, or rice. So it gives a little bit of variety. And again, It's totally cooked, so all we have to do is heat it up. Even the kids can do this, and it's so easy. The other great thing about canned meats and canned vegetables is they are shelf stable for 3 to 5 years. So you don't have to worry about them tasting freezer burned. If you've forgotten about them, that's okay. 3 to 5 years, that's a really long time. So with all of these meals right here, it does take some time for canning. Anything with meat in it takes 90 minutes to pressure can. So by the time you put it together, get the canner up to pressure can it for 90 minutes, let it cool, you've got a couple of hours in. But the great thing is I can fit 9 of these quart jars in my pressure canner. So that is 9 lunches right there. These little pint jars, I can fit, I think it's 16. And this is 2 cups of meat. This is all that we use when we do our chicken and pesto. So that's 16 meals. All I have to do is warm it up and it's ready to go. So my last meal here, this is one of our favorites. This is homemade salsa. It has onions, peppers, tomatoes, cilantro, garlic, so many good things that we grew out of our garden. Except for the garlic, because for some reason I can't seem to grow that. I'm trying. We're gonna get there. This homemade salsa is awesome for my chicken wraps. This is a perfect meal for when you're out all day. So for my chicken wraps, I put 3 chicken breasts into my crock pot, add a block of cream cheese, and a pint of salsa. I cover it and cook it for 8 hours. When I get home, I make some rice to go with it just to stretch it a little bit, and then we put it in wraps and serve it like that. I have dinner ready in 10 minutes after I walk through the door. That's only just waiting on the rice. So this is something that's really easy. It does take about 5 minutes to plan ahead for, but once it's done, I can just let it go all day. Of course, we eat chips and salsa at our house, and we absolutely love it. But my salsa is one of my main things that I use for meal prep. It helps me save so much time in the kitchen. End of the day, when I'm tired, when I've had a long day, I've forgotten to pull something out, I know that I can whip up a healthy meal in 10 to 15 minutes and I'm totally done. So right now, this video was to kind of get you excited for some of the stuff that you can do. And yeah, it does take some time, but if you just have an afternoon or a Saturday to get some of these things canned and prepared, then it will save you so many hours throughout the year. You will be so glad that you did it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see how I make some of the soup, make sure you check out that video. Comment below and let me know if you do any canning already. What do you can? What do you enjoy making? Do you use canning for meal prep too?